Folks, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. We are settling in our post-coronavirus setting, and or I should say, mid-coronavirus setting. Not much has changed except for things have gotten worse. We're going to see, particularly in New York, which is now, I think, considered the at least now the key hotspot in the country. Of course, we have clusters all around the country. It is in every state, but New York City is the most dense place in America, and so it makes sense that we're going to have the biggest problems there. We are, and I think I included this in the breakdown of resources. It will be in our plugs and notices, but you can see basically breakdowns for different specific areas and cities where what will happen in the different scenarios. There's 3 scenarios, right? That could be implemented and or practiced. That is social distancing. That's sort of the mid-level. The stay-at-home orders. I don't know if I got that the terminology correct, but that's I think that's what we're experiencing in New York and a couple other states across the country. And then just sort of like, let's just let the older people die strategy from Texas, let's say. And we will get to that. Greg Abbott is promoting that theory. But and it gives you a sense of just sort of like how big the spike will be and what's the capacity in terms of beds in the hospitals and how much can they handle. And apparently in New York, where we are starting to head up that spike, and we will see within the coming week or two where that spike will top out. But we're going to have problems around the country, if only because, because of the virus in and of itself. But in terms of a response mitigating, I've been saying this now for, I think, 2 weeks. We're going to see a direct correlation between conservative media success and conservatives, I think, by deduction, and a spike in deaths. We'll get to this story, but Donald Trump has he's basically suggested that, yeah, we're close to the end of this whole project of social distancing and stay-at-home orders. And meanwhile, Liberty University, Jerry Falwell Jr. has said we're going to reopen classes and people can come back, which is nuts and horrific. I mean, it is, and they will all come back. They will all come back. Very disturbing. Let's go to the plugs and notices, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see if we can play some of that plugs and notices music. Let's not fade it in. Let's just bring it right up. As you know, these are emails that I've gotten from listeners, and you can send an email at majorityreporters@gmail.com. Put in the subject line plugs and notices, and I will try and get to it. We got a lot of them today. We'll start right here. There's a site connecting manufacturers. Oh, this is a big one. There's a site connecting manufacturers, distributors, hospital, state, and local governments so they can get personal protective equipment they need, i.e. masks, gowns, and ventilators. Are you ready for this? Project95.com. Oh, excuse me. ProjectN95.com. ProjectN95.com. That's from Tom in Minnesota. Meanwhile, the Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy at the University of Minnesota is a good resource. You want to check it out? The link will be in the description of this video or the podcast. Let's see. We have a someone writing about the test that may be available commercially soon. If you take the test too soon, that is within 1 or 2 days after exposure, it won't pick up enough of the virus to be accurate. It could give you a false negative. So be aware of that. You also need to have it in the mail back to the lab ASAP after collecting the swab. They look for the virus's genetic code, which is not stable for more than a couple days. You also need to swab your nose properly, which some people might not do. The swab needs to go all the way back of your nose where the virus is actually active. You should feel like you're gagging on the swab when you do it. So you can find out more of that at statnews.com. Also, if you recall, I reported the other day that there were some research that suggests ibuprofen could be dangerous if you have COVID-19 from the ACP Internist Weekly. Dr. Michael Banks sends me. On March 17, cardiology experts issued a joint statement recommending that patients not discontinue angiotensin-converting enzyme inhibitors and angiotensin receptor blockers due to the concern about risk of more severe infection. The evidence does not indicate any increase in adverse outcomes from COVID-19 associated with these drugs. This is according to the American Heart Association, Heart Failure Society of America, and American College of Cardiology. Concerns about these drugs, as well as ibuprofen, have been raised in a research letter published in the Lancet Respiratory Medicine on March 11th. The authors of the letter subsequently issued a statement clarifying that their hypothesis was intended to spur further research, not change treatment. March 19, the FDA also issued a response to the letter saying that the agency is not aware of scientific evidence connecting the use of NSAIDs with worsening COVID-19 symptoms, but is investigating further. The doctor says Tylenol has less side effects in general than ibuprofen if it does the job for you. So if you're just taking ibuprofen because of the pain, probably best to still stick with that Tylenol. Also, a couple of things in North Carolina, the Triangle area, and North Carolina AFL-CIO pushing state government to expand unemployment insurance. There's a relief fund for displaced restaurant workers, and a petition for Roy Cooper, the governor, to enact a rent, mortgage, utility payment freeze. Triangle DSA are looking for volunteers. We have all those links below. That's from Tyler. Reminder, on April 7th, Wisconsin has an election. You vote for Bernie Sanders, true, but it's extremely, extremely important to vote for Jill Karofsky for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Daniel Moore, the Scott Walker appointed incumbent, will side with conservatives on redistricting, et cetera, et cetera. So make sure you vote. You can request an absentee ballot at myvote.wi.gov. myvote.wi.gov. You got to do so by March 30th. So get on it. Here's some plugs. Can you please shout out the paramedics of New Jersey, specifically IAFF Local 4610 and Trintis Hospital Mobile Intensive Care Unit in Elizabeth, New Jersey. We're out here every day putting in that street work. That's from Nathan. Out of Work Food Service creators have created a Facebook group where we offer help and information to people who lost work due to the COVID pandemic. Over 500 members. Look up Food and Beverage Solidarity. Schwann's is a home service food delivery company that Jeremy works for. He believes they take food stamps. It's a little more expensive than traditionally grocery cost, but they are providing groceries for people who are stuck in their homes. You can visit Schwann's, SCHWANS.com. See if there's service in your area. COVIDtotals.com is a link from John Hopkins, or that Dean is putting together, COVIDtotals.com. He's grabbing data from John Hopkins. Also, information about reclaiming our homes. It's a coalition in LA that has helped several unhoused families move into vacant homes. You can check it out, reclaimingourhomes.org/take action. Particularly important right now. Grace from the UK, Matt. Apparently she's not, sometimes shows up on Literary Hangover. She was on that episode where you guys didn't know of Death of the Salesman.
That's correct.
She wanted to share a helpful resource for mental health, the 10% Happier app. They have a coronavirus sanity guide up on their site with lots of good info. And so there's that. Apparently, you guys don't do this on Literary Hangover. She wants to, I don't know, you're not letting her back on the show or something. I'm not sure. Also, check out Monaco Sea farmproject.org. It is a small nonprofit vegetable farm in Northampton County, Pennsylvania. They are growing produce to donate to the emergency food system in towns and cities in Pennsylvania. Check that out from Eli. Could I get a shofar from my dad, who is a primary care physician in central New Jersey, keeping COVID away from his sick hospital patients, and my wife, who's in the trenches at Sloan Kettering, keeping COVID away? Yes, I think I have hooked that up. Let's see if I can get this to work. Yep, there you go. That's from Dr. Z. Hey there, I'm a writer who's supposed to be on my first book tour. We are doing a live digital play, a 5-night theatrical run. You can check it out at Ithaca Comic Issues on Kickstarter. It's also on Facebook. It's Ithaca, ITHAQA. That's in that'll be links in the descriptions. Also, DIY patterns for online for face masks through Forbes. We've put the link in there. Thank you, Pam, for that. Also, Am Happy Now tells us that her son is a glass blower extraordinaire. He makes, you ready for this? Spoons and beats. I'm not sure what beats are, but he also makes bongs, Matt. And you can find him on Instagram by going to Destruct, DEESTRUKT, or Wes Griffiths for orders. So you can order a glass bong to your home, which may be fun for some people to do after 3 p.m. We are called Non-Applicable. This is a podcast by college students, and he believes no one cares for their opinions, but we'll see if we can make that change. We look at politics, history, and current events. Our most recent episode can be found at anchor.fm, Non-Applicable. Check it out. That's from Nick. If you've ever enjoyed a turkey leg and some fire whip juggling at a Renaissance fair, know that they have been shut down, and these folks who work at these fairs, and there's a lot of folks who are in that sort of universe, you can help them out. Huge losses. There's a Facebook group. We will put the link on the site. My good friend Eric's company, Cheese Brothers. They're a Wisconsin cheese company, and they can ship to all locations in the U.S. Cheesebros.com. If you are staying in and trying to avoid the supermarket for an extended period of time, getting cheese and produce in the mail is a little bit pricey, but a little bit goes a long way if you can stay in your house. Cheesebros.com. Portland's Oregon's best nail salon suddenly closed last week under the guise of COVID-19 health concerns. Apparently, the owner skipped off without paying anybody their checks. There's a GoFundMe in there. Title is Solidarity with FB Nail Techs. Again, just a reminder, look, in terms of all these fundraising things, you got to do your due diligence on these. We just don't have the ability to do it. And, if there's anything that looks, very dicey, I won't read it off. But you got to do your due diligence on all of what we're telling you. We provide the links now, and you got to check it out yourself. But at the very least, we're very cautious with any news about health or anything to that effect.